Hello, so today we will study the profile of the INTP from the MBTI, but in connection to the Big Five models. So the Big Five model is composed of 5 domains, which are openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So let's start with openness. So composed of 2 aspects. Those 2 aspects are first openness to experience and second ideas or intellect. And I would say that the INTP is very open on both sides, but because of the T, which is first, is very open in the intellect aspect. Now, if you take the detail of the facets, you have fantasy, imagination first, aesthetics, artistic interest second, feelings, emotionality third, actions, adventurousness fourth, ideas, intellect fifth, and values, liberalism sixth. So in addition, I would say that because of the NE, the INTP is pretty high. He has a vivid imagination. As for aesthetics and artistic interest, to believe in the importance of art or poetry, I would say yes, but not that much, because he's got T first and not F, so he's not especially passionate about art. Now, as for feelings and emotionality, it is a little bit ambiguous, because on one side, the INTP tends to be deep, and with depth comes a depth of feelings, but on the other side, he tends to repress his feelings and emotions, and so it would be moderate, I think. In actions and adventurousness, to like changes, to like variety, here again, I'm not so sure. As for ideas and intellect, liking complex problems and liking philosophical discussions, for example, yes, the INTP is very, very high. As for values and liberalism, for example, believing in one true religion or not, I would say that the INTP is rather liberal, because he doesn't believe in a fixed set of beliefs. Now, as for conscientiousness, I would say that the INTP is not that conscientious, because he's got NE, so he interacts with the world in a very fluid manner. Consciousness is orderliness and industriousness. As for orderliness, he is not that orderly, I would say, because he's not very interested in that. And as for industriousness, he can be, but in general, is not that motivated by reaching goals. So if we take the detail of the facets, competence, self-efficacy, complete tasks successfully, and judge situations rightly. Yes, more or less. He is motivated, he will complete the task successfully, but often he doesn't see the point, because he's always searching for the meaning. As order and orderliness, being bothered by leaving a mess, for example, I think he's not that orderly. Dutifulness, following the rules or against breaking the rules, yes, this one is ambiguous, because he both likes to cooperate with, but he's not obsessed by following the rules set by others, because he likes to understand why the rules exist in the first place. Achievement, striving, working hard, or doing just enough to get by, this one he's in the middle, I would say, because sometimes he's motivated by a goal and he will pursue it, but often he doesn't see the point. Self-discipline, getting chores done right away, or wasting one's time, I would say that he is not that self-disciplined. And consciousness, avoiding mistakes or rushing into things, no. He tends to think a lot, so I would say he doesn't rush into things. Now, as for extraversion, no, the INTP is not an extrovert. He likes his own his own interior world. So as for extraversion, which are assertiveness and enthusiasm, no, he's not that enthusiast. Assertiveness, he can be assertive because he believes in truth, and so if truth is at stake, yeah, he will be assertive. Now, in the detail of the facets, warm friendliness, make friends easily, no, not that much. He's not that interested in making friends, and he doesn't understand the social norms very easily. Gregariousness, loving large parties, no, not at all, because he likes to be by himself or herself to reflect, to think. Assertiveness, taking charge or waiting for others to lead the way. In general, no, he prefers to be left alone and not to take charge, but he can be assertive. Activity levels, I'm always busy, like to take it easy. This one depends, because if he's passionate about something, he will be busy on the project, but sometimes he doesn't see the point, so he's not that busy. Excitement seeking, loving excitement, no, because he's an introvert, so he doesn't like sensation too much. Positive emotions, cheerfulness, radiates joy, no, not that much. He's an introvert and everything is inward, so he doesn't express too much. And agreeableness, I would say he's not that agreeable because he's got the T, but he's got FE in his functions, so he's not that disagreeable either. As for compassion, I would say he can be, but it's not the center of his being. And as for politeness, he's not mean, so he can be polite, but he prefers to do things his own way, so it's a little bit ambiguous. If you take the detail of the facets, trusting others, yeah, he trusts others, but not necessarily that much. Compliance or morality, he's not very exploitative, so yes, he tends to be rather compliant. Altruism, making people feel welcome or despising others, I would say that he's not that altruistic, because he knows that in general he's rather intelligent, and so he tends to look at others like a little bit limited, I would say. Straightforwardness and cooperation, yes, because he's not antagonistic, so yes, he tends to be cooperative. Modesty, it depends, because he doesn't like to be the center of attention, but sometimes they think highly of themselves. And tender-mindedness and sympathy, I would say it depends also. So agreeableness, not that much. So I would say openness very high, and especially in the facet ideas and intellect. Conscientiousness average, except for deliberation and cautiousness. Extraversion, no, rather low, especially in friendliness and gregariousness. And agreeableness average. Now, as for neuroticism, I would say it doesn't really correlate with the MBTI. So that's all for today. If you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, and I will answer all the comments. Thank you.